Hello, good evening, and welcome to Winners and Losers from the LFC Daytrippers. It's another Monday night. It's me, Gav, it's Andy, and it's P. And we're going to get through our winners as quick as we fucking can because we just want to get to our losers this week. We're absolutely baying for blood this week. If you haven't watched the full-time Reds from yesterday, it was a cracker. Go and watch it. If you haven't watched the Fatback 4 from last night, go and watch it or listen to it wherever you find your podcasts. Hit the like button if you're in here, subscribe if you haven't already, you know, all the usual stuff. This week we're going to do our two winners first, get them out of the way, and then we're going to go to our losers. Andy, how are you? What time did you get back from Liverpool, and were you expecting to arrive home from Liverpool to see a statement from Manchester City, which still hasn't appeared?
A statement from City?
Yeah.
What statement?
Well, Liverpool made a statement last night with regards to what went on in the ground yesterday from their fans and stuff, and we fully expected City to make a statement on that basis, and they haven't. And we get to this later.
They made a statement about their bus, didn't they?
Yes, they've made it. Well, I don't know if they've made a statement about their bus, but they're just telling all journalists to make the statements on their behalf. City haven't really said anything, I don't think.
Yeah,
horrible club.
And in fact, a few of the Hillsborough foundations have reached out to them, asking them if they have anything to say.
We got on to later because I think one of the best ones I've seen earlier. I'll tell you about later. But how are you, Andy? Well, did you have a nice day yesterday?
I had a lovely day. It was a perfect day actually. I wasn't expecting much. I was probably the least looking forward to a game than I have been for a long time, you know, just because of the possibilities, what could have happened yesterday. So because of that, it was just unbelievable, you know. Got in there, had a bit of breakfast in Shiraz, as you do. Got down to the ground nice and early, soaked in the atmosphere, and you could feel it was going to be a good one. You could feel it was going to be bouncing. So going into the ground, that's my first game this season, and what a game! Just from the whistle onward, it was just, they were just brilliant. You know what I mean? And the crowd were up for it. And you just have to wonder where that team were all season. Where was that effort? Like where that was Liverpool last season. You know, that was Liverpool 2 or 3 seasons ago when they were just absolutely buzzing and all the energy. So look, for me, the season started yesterday again, and they just have to kick on now. Five Premier League games before the World Cup, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were to win all of those,
about 8 games, I think, before the World Cup now, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a Carabao Cup and there's a couple of Champions League games. So, you know, if they were to win those 5 games, I know it's early days, but Jesus Christ, you never know. You never know in football.
If Liverpool were to win 5 league games in a row now, they'd be on 28 points now. Arsenal currently be on 28 points. Yeah, Arsenal currently sit on fucking like 27. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
they put themselves back in the top 4. There's no doubt about it. Putting 5 wins together anywhere now in this league is going to propel you up a lot. But
well, look, win the game in hand. They're only 7 behind City. I mean, I'm not really looking at Arsenal at the minute.
Well, you kind of have to. They're 4 clear of City.
Yeah, but City is the team you need to stay close by. I was only saying to one of the lads earlier, you know, the season Leicester won it, you dealt with them probably up to the last few weeks when it finally sunk in that they're actually probably going to win the league. But I just not convinced that Arsenal can maintain this level.
Yeah, they were a bit fortunate. They were a bit fortunate the weekend against Leeds, but
if we can stay close to City, I think if you finish ahead of City, you're winning the league. You know what I mean? Look, let's not talk about that for the moment.
Kevin Sullivan says, as great as the result was yesterday, we have to back it up. Vital, we beat West Ham.
Yeah, you just absolutely.
We were saying last night, you need to go out exactly the same on Wednesday night as you did yesterday. That's the level now. And if you drop below that level, there shouldn't be any excuse for me. Although we are losing fucking players left, right, and centre. Jota.
But it's the effort. It's the effort.
It's the application.
It's
backing each other up, running.
The effort.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to do winners, first 2 winners. I'm going to start with P. Your winner is Harry Kane.
Yep. Anyone that knows me on this from being on here knows that I'll have me tongue firmly planted in my cheek when I announce that Harry Kane is my winner for this week. Definitely. Listen. I mean, I think everybody knows it. We watched it, and it's nothing to do with the fact that it was against Everton, but it's an ongoing theme. You know, the diving, simulation, all this stuff. But the new phrase that the British media and media in general have coined for winning a penalty is now engineering for Harry Kane. Engineering a penalty. So the positive way to describe winning a penalty when Harry Kane does it will be engineering until, of course, Mo Salah or somebody like Mo Salah manages to engineer the penalty, and then it would be negative again. I mean, listen, it's an ongoing theme. It's not. I mean, no coincidence that it's a World Cup year. A couple of English lads got away with murder at the weekend. Not just Harry Kane. I think the young left full that plays with Chelsea went through somebody. It would have been a red card in any other game. But Harry Kane, I mean, for me, the journalists are inventing language to distance him from any form of, dare I say it, cheating. And he's not just a winner because, you know, he can do no wrong. He's also the winner because, let's face it, less than 6 months ago, he was trying his best to engineer the move. In fact, the British media were trying to help him to engineer that move out of Tottenham, regardless of who was coming in as manager, or regardless.
No, a bit longer than that. It was last summer, wasn't it? The summer before last, yeah. So 18 months ago.
It feels like a COVID season.
Well, he is being linked, of course, with Bayern Munich, and the talk at the moment is that, and I don't know how good or bad the talk is, but the talk at the moment is that Spurs want to sit down and discuss a new deal, and he's holding off because of interest from Bayern Munich. But when did he get away with murder at the weekend, P?
The penalty. I mean, for me,
Stop it.
It's not a penalty.
Come on.
Listen, I always say the same thing.
Oh, I know. Listen, I'm no fan of Harry Kane.
How can you foul? Listen, I'm no fan of Pickford. He's all over the place. He falls to pieces. But how can you foul somebody that you can't see? You know, for me,
well, it's not about seeing them or intentionally doing something. Once you stop somebody from a goal scoring opportunity in the box, or you hinder somebody in the box, it's a penalty.
Like the handball that Liverpool didn't get last week.
But
like the rugby tackle that Mo Salah doesn't get. Mo Salah doesn't get that penalty.
But do you agree? But Mo Salah doesn't get something yesterday. Do you think it's a foul?
Oh, it's a rugby challenge.
The handball.
It's a round the neck rugby challenge.
The handball last weekend against Arsenal.
It's a blatant handball. Yeah. But my point is, it's not Harry Kane on the wrong end of it. So you're not getting it. So he's the winner. He gets everything.
But he doesn't get away with murder at the weekend.
He does. He gets the penalty.
Hold on. If he gets away with murder at the weekend, it means that Harry Kane does not get contacted by Pickford or initiates contact with Pickford in order to go down and get a penalty. No, he didn't. He didn't.
He engineered it.
Come here. No. Engineered is bullshit, because they're just saying
what they say.
You're right. What you're saying is new language, right? But Pickford makes a howler in the original save, right? He comes out. He goes down the wrong way. His shoulder and his head hit off Kane as Kane goes to go by him. Now, does Kane make the most of it? Absolutely. But he still hinders him in the box as he's going past him. He lays on the ground, Pickford, knowing that he's done wrong, knowing he's committed a foul. And when the ball goes in the net, he holds his hand up to his bench to say, I'm really sorry, I made a bollocks of that, that's my fault. I completely witch on the Harry Kane stuff overall, but he does not get away with murder for me at the weekend.
I just think, listen, it's not just about Mohammed Salah. I think Riyad Mahrez doesn't get that penalty. I think,
but this is a race thing now. This is a race thing.
No. Let's not go there, because. Listen,
but you are. You've just said Mo Salah and Riyad Mahrez.
No. It's an England thing.
Does Jota get it?
England captain gets it.
Does Jota get it?
England captain gets it.
But does Jota get
it? I go as far as to say that. Give me another.
Does Haaland get it?
Henderson.
Haaland doesn't get it. Henderson doesn't get it.
Oh, P. Every forward in the league gets that penalty at the weekend.
Not a chance. Does Mo Salah get that penalty?
Yes. Because the keeper comes out, does not touch the ball, right? Collides, does not touch the ball, collides with the forward as he goes past him. It's a clear penalty.
Mo Salah went one-on-one yesterday and produced a huge save from a very good goalkeeper. Didn't even get a corner kick. Don't talk to me about Mo Salah.
But hold on a minute.
The ref clearly didn't see the save.
But nobody's seen the save until the fucking replay. We can't go back and check VAR on a fucking save. Was it a corner?
Can't do that.
They're not doing that. But that's just human error. Like, that's the slightest of touches. Everyone thinks Mo Salah's put that past the post until you see it at an angle, at ground level, from the Anfield Road end, where you're looking straight on it, and he managed to see the smallest of touches.
Well, then
That's not about whether
just
it's Harry Kane or
it
Mo
seems to
Salah.
me that Harry Kane benefits from a hell of a lot of human error, to be honest, which makes him a huge winner for me. I'd like to be standing beside him. I'd like to be standing beside him. If there's ever a lightning storm somewhere, put me beside Harry Kane.
Hold on, Liz Golden asks, is
You won't
Gav
even get
arguing?
wet.
Is Gav arguing for argument's sake?
No.
Is Liz trying to tell me that I'm arguing and I'm completely wrong? I don't know. But and I get the whole Harry Kane thing. But your words to me were, and Andy, Harry Kane got away with murder the weekend.
Yeah.
Harry
he
Kane.
got really-
Andy,
he
did
got
Harry
penalty
Kane get
for
away with
falling
murder
over.
the weekend?
Don't know, Gav. To be honest, I was saying Pete's winner was Harry Kane. I didn't know what he was going to be saying about it. I didn't look at the penalty, didn't see the incident, so I can't even comment.
Arch says he's not sure if Salah
He
gets it, to be
does.
honest.
He does get favourable treatment from referees. Like, I mean, there's no
no
sure
doubt about
thing.
that.
The England, the English players have always had that, but on that particular incident that you're saying it was a blatant penalty, Gav. Pete saying it wasn't. So I'd have to look at it.
Listen, and by the way, just to clear it up, it's nothing to do with skin colour. I honestly think it's to do with the fact that he's England captain, to be quite honest.
Oh, listen, you could absolutely have something that...
Alan Shearer.
Yes,
Alan Shearer kicked Neil Lennon in the head once, and it was a beautiful. It was like Conor McGregor. It was amazing. He wasn't even booked for that.
Mohammed is saying, Gav, stop protecting Kane. Come back on side. Listen, I fully agree with everything you say about Harry Kane, but that at the weekend is a penalty kick, right?
Do you not like Kane, Gav?
I like Kane as a player. I think Pete's bang on with the preferential treatment he gets, right?
Yeah.
Because he used to do this thing, and it's kind of gone out of his game now, where he used to look at a defender and stand under the defender as he went to jump and could have hurt somebody, and I just thought it was ridiculous, right?
Yeah, if that was so innocent, Gav, why isn't he doing it anymore?
Here's a question for you.
I don't know, but just on Kane, I think he does get preferential treatment. I think the one where he does Robertson last season at the Tottenham Stadium, where that's what it's called now. I think it's a straight red card, and Paul Tierney bottles it. With Harry Kane, I think he gets fouls, and I think he gets different things, and he's thrown himself on the ground a few times for penalties, and against Liverpool and others. Don't get me wrong, but that at the weekend, I would love nothing more than to go look at this fucker doing it again. But when I looked at it, I just went, that's a penalty. And listen, not even that. Jordan Pickford is lying on the ground knowing what he's done, and when the ball goes in, Jordan Pickford is saying sorry to his bench because he's putting his hand up saying that's my fault.
Yeah, but do you not think as a professional, Gavin? Now, Joe, hang on a second, Andy. Do you not think as a professional, Jordan Pickford isn't saying, listen, it's him. I should fucking know better than to do it around him. Sorry, I know we talked about this before the game. I shouldn't do it. That's more like what Jordan Pickford is doing.
Jordan Pickford's lying on the ground, Pete, and he's lying there and he knows what's happening, right? Okay, and when he gets up, he looks at Kane and smiles as if to go, "I'm at the foot. Yeah, I've done it for you." Jordan Pickford does himself in that instance. I'm not against what you're saying with regards to Harry Kane, but at the weekend, Jordan Pickford makes a howler at the fucking save in the fourth place and flies out with the wrong hand and puts his head in and all sorts of fucking stuff. If he'd have actually just concentrated on going for the ball, I think he would have been fine. But the way he comes out was completely wrong. But it was, like, for me, Jordan Pickford knew when the penalty was conceded and knew when it went in. I made a bollocks of it there. I fouled the fucker in the box. Do you know what I mean? And he probably would have been better off staying away from it, because when Kane touches the ball, I think it's Cody right beside him, and there's another guy beside him on the line.
Hang on, there's people in the chat saying that Pickford cleaned Kane. What the hell? I mean, what kind of sport are you watching where you think that is a fella getting cleaned out? Getting cleaned out. I mean, I don't want to sound like Graham Souness here, but lads in the chat, do you understand what getting cleaned out was? Getting your legs taken from under you at a high speed. You really need to understand what the definition of getting cleaned out, because that is not getting. That's a fumble around the ball. Your hand is here, your shoulders there. Getting cleaned out, lads. Come on.
Well, it's actually splitting opinion in the chat, because a lot of people,
they might know this game, Pete. You know what I mean?
No, don't go there.
Can I put a spin on this conversation?
Yeah,
right, we'll do roundabouts here about this. We all agree that Kane is a bit of a diver and all that.
100%.
Yeah. Right. It's hard to not sound a little bit stupid, when you're going to criticise Haaland, right? But who would you have said had Kane went to City? Who would you say had been more effective, Haaland or Kane at City? Because I watched Haaland very closely yesterday.
I would say Haaland, and I'll tell you why.
Right. So go on.
I think Kane will be unreal at City, right? But I think Kane likes to get involved in play too much, and listen, he could get involved in play with City and be fucking outrageously good.
Yeah.
But what City wanted, in my opinion, is a striker up there that's big, physical, and wants to stand between the corner of the 6-yard box and bash goals in, and that's exactly what he does.
Yeah,
right.
I think
that's what City wanted.
I think both of them would score loads. But
right, that's what City. I don't know what. Obviously, it's what they wanted because that's what you're getting with Haaland. I do think that Pep, as time goes on, he's going to want them more involved in play because his involvement, his football outside of the box is horrific. Like, it's so bad. He's clumsy. His touch is poor. His awareness is passing outside the box. He's fucking terrible. And Kane for City, like City bought Haaland because they want to go up another level. They want to win the Champions League, right? That's because they're blitzing teams in the league week in, week out anyway. Whether Haaland's there or Haaland's not there, any striker they bring in, if they had just went to Alvarez, they still would have been blitzing teams in the Premier League. But they need to now have a player that makes the difference in the big games, right? And that was a big game yesterday. And when they play big teams in the Champions League or they get to the semi-finals or the final Champions League, they need someone to make those marginal differences. And I think Kane would have been the better player to bring them to another level. Now, don't get me wrong. I can't even see the comments at the moment. I'm probably getting lashed out of it. He's unbelievable, Haaland, like at the goal scoring. I've never seen that like it, you know, and I've come out with plenty of hot takes. Like, he's probably going to be the best goal scorer the league has ever seen. But outside the box, he's just not at it at all. He's just not at it.
Can I just say, you buy a fella like Haaland, in fairness, he's a phenomenal goal scorer, to take out the trash. City had a huge problem in the Premier League, drawing games that they're absolutely dominant, and you'll do that. But in the highest, I agree with you, Kane drops off like no other centre forward into that number 10 position, and it's Kane that makes Son, in my view. I think Son is phenomenal, but Kane makes him even better. Kane would bring out the absolute best in Bernardo Silva, even more in De Bruyne, and probably even more in Grealish if they wanted to play with Grealish. You'd probably see more goals from midfield, and which would make them more effective in the Champions League, because the Champions League is more about moving fellas around, moving around stubborn defences. But that's why I think Kane was their first choice.
Well, Kane was the first choice last year, and then Haaland comes up and they make the move for Haaland, right? But for me, listen, I think you put most strikers in that City side and they'll get 25 to 30 goals a season, right? A Haaland or Kane, right? Or even Darwin Núñez, who's, very, very young in his career, early in his career. But you know what I mean? I'm talking about, like, if you put Mo Salah down the middle for Man City, you'll get 30 goals a fucking season for you. You know that sort of way. I just think the way City played yesterday, for me, and what I've seen from this season, I think Kane gets in their way. I think he's very beneficial, but I think he gets in the way of what they're trying to do, right? Because a lot of time when you see City playing and they are frustrated, you have Bernardo, you have, whether it was Jesus, right? You would have De Bruyne, you'd the fullbacks, you'd have a Sterling and Mahrez, and they're all concentrated in this arc around the box. And they're trying to be, not score the perfect goal, but get very close to it. Where Haaland just gets out of the way. And what Haaland's done all season is, and I've said it before, he does not want to play football. He wants to stand up there, make himself a bit awkward at times, maybe the odd layoff and stuff like that. But every time they get the ball within 30 yards of that goal, he's in that box. Yeah. And what's happening is, because he stays so far forward, right? So far forward, he occupies their centre halves at all times. He doesn't drop off. He stays up there all the time, which gives them. And look at it yesterday. He stayed right on top of Gomez and Van Dijk yesterday, which meant that they made the pitch so big. Like, literally, the wide men were on the touchlines, but they still had loads of men in the middle of the park because they were able to push and occupy Liverpool at all times. It wasn't a case of I'll let him go in there, someone will look after him. He never went in there. He stayed up for all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's
Gav,
Haaland.
I thought Liverpool.
I think Kane would score a bucket for them as well.
Yeah,
Bucket
I thought Liverpool dealt with Haaland extremely well, and probably a bit of a blueprint now for other teams of how they should deal with him. They didn't just cut out. They talk about cutting out the supply to him. They cut out the supply to De Bruyne. You know, they stopped it at source, and there was the one big chance where he clipped the ball over Gomez's head, and Haaland probably should score, but that was his only big chance. And I mean, Origi could play that game for City yesterday, and the margins in big games like that, you need someone that can do a little bit more than just be that goal poacher. Don't get me wrong. He could have still won the game for them if he got on the end of that, and then he would have been the big hero. But City yesterday, if I was a City fan, I know we're going to be talking about City, I'd be very, very disappointed at what they put on show there yesterday.
I thought it was a brilliant game of football.
But with their they're supposed to be the best club in the world, or team in the world, and they're paying a striker 900,000 a week, and I don't think he makes them any better in a big game.
I think he'd make a massive difference to them in Europe, because for me in Europe, what happens with City is they should win most games. If you see the games they're being knocked out in, they should win them. Real Madrid at home, Real Madrid away. And they've had chances in these big games that they've missed. Sterling, Mahrez, whoever it might be, might miss. He won't miss.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing with him. Give him it and he will not miss. Like, he has two chances.
He missed his only chance yesterday.
He had two chances yesterday. One was a header, right, which he gets on target, and okay, that's fine. And the second one is a right-footed shot that Alisson makes a fucking great save from. It's actually a better shot than I think.
He kind of scuffed it.
Yeah. It was
a just onto his left foot.
Yeah,
left foot.
And it goes down to Alisson's right, sorry. And okay, Liverpool were really good with dealing with him. But I promise you, Andy, if we play that game 10 times more, he scores in about 8 or 9 of them. And I mean that, because City will find a way to get him in front of goal. Liverpool were excellent at it yesterday, and it will happen the odd time, but more times than not, if they will make a chance, and Haaland will score.
The only problem,
I'm not doubting he's a quality player, but I just thought, to make that comparison with Kane, that I think they're lacking Kane to make them win the Champions League
and to move people around. The only problem with Haaland, and it's probably a stupid thing to say, but he pops up in conventional positions. I've seen a couple where Van Dijk just runs into that textbook centre half position in the middle of the 6-yard box. It looks amazing, but all he's doing is making his run, following the centre forward run, and stooping to head it clear. It's conventional positions. Haaland is a textbook 9. And I just think Gomez and Van Dijk were just set up yesterday. We were so compact. Milner was so excellent. When we didn't have the ball, he just squeezed, and we did. He was open. And someone like a Harry Kane playing for City yesterday would have pulled our shape all over the place, and they probably would have been a couple of goals up. But City have played against, a lot of fodder this year. And, Haaland is going to take out the trash very, very well. It's just not in an unpredictable way, in the way, I don't know, someone like Kane or even Mo Salah can be, starting in that wide position and finishing off in the centre. I just think it's ridiculous to say he's a typical old-fashioned centre forward. That's why everyone is look at him.
He's a monster. And he's got to the stage where Liverpool played that well yesterday that we're looking at him going, oh, geez, you know what? He could have had 1 or 2, but he's a monster. He'll score 40-plus goals this season. There's no doubt about it.
Red Steve, that's my fault. Sorry.
Is this Haaland's a loser or Kane's a winner, Mrs. Start? Fuck off, Red Steve. We're now talking about what we want.
We can't stick I just thought we were going nowhere.
Well, why is he missing? Why did you miss the start? If you hadn't missed the start, you would have known where we were going.
Tune in on Brian.
Get out, anyway,
hard. Andy, you're winner.
Winner?
Yeah. And by the way, Red Steve, we know Red Steve very well, so when we tell him to fuck off, we know he don't mean it.
We know he won't fuck off. He's going to stay.
No, he's sound. He's sound. Go
on. Who's my winner again?
Mo Salah.
Yeah. Now, a few weeks ago, I made Bobby me winner. I was nearly going to do it again today because I forgot. But in the context of how vital he's been for Liverpool, going to transitioning from one Klopp team to another. I know we haven't brought in too many players. I had made Firmino the winner, and since then he's kept this team alive. No matter what system Klopp has played, like he's experimented with a couple of different shapes. Firmino has been the difference. What are you laughing at?
Sorry.
Red Steve.
Sorry, Gav. I've got a life, you knob.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He doesn't. Go on, keep going, Andy.
But like in the last couple of games, well, when Salah came off the bench against Rangers, he played very like down through the middle, more familiar for him with Liverpool. And then yesterday started kind of in that half space that Klopp kind of famously gets him to exploit, more central. And Firmino was excellent in backing up, but my God, Mo yesterday, wow. Just if we had any concerns about the big money contract, or he was falling off a cliff, the only difference is he hasn't been playing close enough to goal. He was unbelievable yesterday. Unbelievable. He's just so good. Playing him in his dangerous position, he's just going to do that to teams. Like he had the other big chance, and it was a really good save yesterday. Playing him in the right position, he's going to treat you. And yesterday, I think we were spoiled rotten. He was sensational, and with Bobby enabling him, because I think that's what Bobby does. He enables other players around him and goes unnoticed a lot. Those levels we seen it with Bobby years ago when he was linking up with Mo. They were back. It was a masterclass between the two of them. The team were great. Don't get me wrong, from 1 to 11. But if you could pick, any winner out of those, I think it has to be Mo, because he just showed that of all our great players like Van Dijk and Thiago, they're world class players, but he's just a cut above the rest. And I just loved that performance yesterday, and I loved his performance against Rangers. I loved his facial expressions. The people were trying to read into it. Is he pissed off? No, he's not pissed off. He's just signed a big, massive extension, and he's playing at the best club in the world to play for a player like him. He's absolutely adored by the fans. And it just shows you the way his reaction and his face and the way he celebrated. And even after the game, he was very serious, because the beast has had to be awakened here again. And this is giving me a lot of hope.
Well, I like to just say the beast is being awoken, because I think when Salah decides, now fuck this. He done it in 2021 when we trying to make top 4, do you remember? And he was outrageous. He got a lot of stick last season for saying, like, oh, I'll take Real Madrid, I'll take this, I'll take that. He was like, yeah, bring them all on. You know what I mean? All right, it didn't work out in certain parts of the season, but when Salah looks like he's absolutely just tunnel vision on winning games now for Liverpool, the messing's over. He does look a bit like that for me. Like even at the Rangers game, when are we 3-1 up when he comes on? 4-1 up? 3-1 up, sorry, when he comes on. Even that, he comes on and he's scoring just bang, bang, bang. And he's not huge celebrations. I think quite a good celebration for the last one. But he looks so tuned in. And I think he's literally taking Liverpool's form personally. And I'm all for that. On yesterday, I've said it for ages, he needs to start picking the ball up on the corner of that box, somewhere in that channel, rather than 15 yards wide or on the touchline. And that's where he does damage. But yesterday, when I seen the lineup and I seen him up front, I was like, we have to play really good football to get him on the ball here. Like, we have to play really adventurous, risky football to get him on the ball, because you think of Salah as low centre of gravity, strong, quick feet, good pace. But yesterday, his physicality was the big thing. His work rate. There was one where he's running with the ball and Ake comes across. Ake's about 6 foot fucking 4, right? And he just get the fuck away from him.
Oh, actually, Ake's not that big at all.
I know he's not that. What I'm saying is, I thought he was. He's intimidating. He's an intimidating looking fella when you see him on the telly. But he just absolutely get the fuck away from me, and he just keeps going. But even things like, there's one where Elliot gets a chance first half where it's kind of looped up in the air, and he just runs and stands, and I think he gets the better of, it might be Diaz, and he just gets the strength on him. He gets it through to Elliot, and Elliot kind of doesn't know what to do with it, to be honest with you, because he can't get on his left foot. But yesterday, his work rate, I I thought Firmino was so important. I agree with you. I think he was so important what he done, because Firmino was basically saying, if you want to wander out there and cause havoc, I'll go through the middle. I'll be the man in the middle if you want to go and cause murder somewhere. And if you want to stay up the middle, I'll back you up on either side of you, and then we'll fall into place if you need to press and stuff. But I thought Salah was unbelievable. Just the way he occupied them yesterday, his pace, strength. He misses that, doesn't miss that chance, a good save. Then the finish, but the all round walk. Now, the only thing I would dock him a point for, he should have given Bernardo a slap, right? And I would have been absolutely all right. But how he held on.
This what makes Mo so special.
Oh well, he goes up. I don't know if you've seen it, Andy, but he gets thrown to the ground by what's his name, Bernardo, right? Bernardo then backs into him, stamps on him, and tries to elbow him. But when it goes back up the pitch, he goes to Bernardo and says, "Come here, you did do this, you did that." Bernardo pushes him, and he kind of puts his arm in the air to go, "What are you doing?" Now Van Dijk comes in and treats Bernardo like a small child. But for me yesterday, I gave him man of the match yesterday, Andy, because I just thought he was exceptional in everything he done. And he was a real spearhead. I really enjoyed it. P,
absolute man of the match for me as well.
Yeah.
And you would have wanted to, there's so many players there that you would have wanted to give man of the match to, because they showed up and they haven't really been at their best all season. Like there's Gomez, the shit he's had to listen to. And again, that other wanker that we spoke about on TalkSport a couple of weeks ago, and they made him lose, or Gabi Ekbalhar, the disrespect he's shown to a fellow English player in Gomez, a young player who's had so much misfortune with injuries going, his knee practically exploded 2 years ago, and he's only trying to get his way, and his commentary around him was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. How a fellow professional who's been through the game, who's had injuries himself, talks about Gomez. But Gomez showed everyone yesterday that he's not finished at centre back. He was absolutely brilliant, and there's the player who the whole world are talking about, in Haaland and all the goals he's scoring, and Gomez had him in his pocket. So I would have really loved to give Gomez man of the match, and Van Dijk now, he was brilliant, spraying his balls around again. Robbo back in the team made such a difference, but you could have gave them all man of the match. Elliott, so mature, absolutely top draw of a performance. The way he played this role.
I know we're talking Salah, but I think on Elliott, and we spoke about it yesterday, but even more so when you watch it back again, because I love watching the game back a second time, because you're not watching it with the adrenaline, and, where you're just watching for bits and pieces. And for me, Elliott, he's a bit unfortunate, and I think he's a bit poor when he gets attacking opportunities at times, right? But the way he got back into the shape and the way he walked and he harried, I thought that's what people that have kind of wondered about him in this team have kind of pointed to. I thought he showed yesterday that, hold on, I have, not that he hasn't been working, but I thought yesterday, watching it back, the amount of harrying he does, tackling, comes back, gets his toe on the ball to get away from the likes of Foden or Cancelo, or whoever, not Cancelo, it was usually Foden or Bernardo, whoever's wandering around that area, picking her up, getting out of tight spaces, hitting good balls. I thought it was a brilliant display by Harvey Elliott. But Mo Salah is Andy's winner. Do you want to say anything on him?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, for me, and I agree with Andy wholeheartedly, for me, the discipline and the humility that the man shows when fellas trying to whine, and he never bites. And the finish just sums him up. He has a plan in his head, knew exactly what he was going to do, had gone for the low slide, when the keeper got down and saved it. But just a little dink with pace. The guy is just, it's just, it was never going. He was never, and to think that somebody like that was never interested in leaving us, just wanted to find a way to stay. We're just so lucky to have somebody like that. But I kind of agree with you. I thought we were so disciplined without the ball, Salah included as well. Even looking at Jota, special mention for him.
Oh, he was unbelievable. The amount of running that fella done yesterday, I was knackered watching him.
It reminds me of David Speedy so much. Just a horrible little bastard without the ball. Even when he's not having a great game, kind of in an attacking sense. There was times when he was frustrating. You know, he couldn't get the ball out of his feet, but without the ball, it's like the boys were taking turns just to hurry and harry De Bruyne. Obviously, we'd identified him. You cannot give him time and space. He'll always find it anyway, but don't, you know. And Jota was just one of those getting under his feet. We were just fantastic without the ball yesterday, you know. And there was no weaknesses. I didn't think there was any. Even when Nunes came on, I know some of the decisions he made were not what you'd expect.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
He ran them absolutely ragged. He's a decision away from. He just needs a little bit of coaching. You need to make those consistently good decisions, and then he's motoring because he's got absolutely everything.
Watching it back, Nunes comes on, and I was screaming at him for not squaring to Salah or Jota, putting Jota in whatever it was. You know, Jota and Salah up alongside him. When I watched it back today, I loved every minute of it. He comes on, and the first thing he does, he just tears at them. You know, he gets one of them booked. He actually has a great chance. He hits over Ederson, and I was waiting for the offside flag to go up, to be honest, but it kind of gets played away. He should give it to Salah. He gives a great ball towards Trent. That if Trent is another yard forward, he probably taps in. But you know what? I'd rather him do something like that than come on and try things and it doesn't work and the shoulders drop. He just looked like, just give me the ball everywhere. Just run and run.
Can I ask you, Gav, do you not hope that we can agree just one more year with Firmino in order that somebody like me can learn?
Oh yeah, well, we said it last week, Pete. I was asked last week, would I extend his contract? Yes, is the answer to that. I think because the amount of players around him that will benefit from another year with him, the likes of Carvalho, probably Diaz, Nunes, all these. Jota, Salah know what they're doing, but I think the rest of them around, and even linking up with Elliott or other midfielders that come in, which they will have to come in January or August, they'll benefit from seeing what Firmino does on this side. You know what I mean? But
Nunes, you know, anytime I've spoken about him in the pod there this season, it was like a lot of in and around of what we don't know about him so far, like how Klopp reinvents players. We really don't know what we're going to get on Nunes just yet. And one thing I hadn't really considered was playing him on the left of a tree, and with Jota probably injured now for a few weeks,
he'll have to play it.
I'd love to see him what he do on the left,
because Salah won't be moved out of the centre.
No,
do you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, we'd have to see if he sticks to that 4-2-3-1. Does he put him out there? Maybe he does, but I think a better going out there might be Carvalho, because Carvalho, in fairness to him, when he comes on yesterday, he's a few lovely touches, cool on the ball, but always got back into position. Always. You could see him doing them doggy runs from 40 yards in from the touchline and making his way right out to get on top of City's left back. But let's move on, because I want to group these all together. Pete, I'll let you go first, and I'll let you go second. Your losers of the week were Pep Guardiola and Man City. But I want to group this all. I want to group this all together, right? Pep Guardiola, Manchester City, and the referee.
Absolutely. To be honest with you, and you and I, we all spoke about this earlier on. For me, from the moment that Jurgen Klopp sat down to make his press conference and talked about the money, you just knew. I mean, this is the difference between a good manager and a great manager. You know, it's about saying the right things, doing the right things, but it's about when you do it. I mean, Klopp, knowing the amount of injuries, the problems that we're going to have, and I think he's done it deliberately. He sat down and he's made it. Obviously, he's spun it in such a way. He set the agenda that, okay, we're David, you're Goliath. Nobody can outspend you, Newcastle, everybody else. And obviously, the agenda is set. Now, Pep Guardiola, the part where Pep, we'll talk about Jurgen later, but the part where Pep shows up is he's undone, as always, by his own arrogance. Pep is so obsessed with the idea of his own legacy that obviously he hates the idea. He was the same here in Spain. He hates the idea of people saying, oh, you inherited a great team from Frank Rijkaard, you were at a huge club, you've never done it at a Mainz or at a Sporting Gijón or anything like that. Therefore, you're just entitled and you're a money man. He hates that. So he, in his head, and you could see he changed the shape. He changed Manchester's shape and their approach on Sunday. Because why? He does this. He did it. He cost them a Champions League final against Chelsea.
I couldn't believe he put De Bruyne out right. I just couldn't
get over it. But why? You have to ask yourself why, Gav. Why? Because he's obsessed with wanting, and Klopp knows it. Klopp goads him into doing it. He's obsessed with wanting to appear to be the smartest man in the room, when really it's Jurgen Klopp. I mean, for me, this is what makes Pep. If Pep sets up the way Manchester City have set up for 90% of this season, Manchester City get something at Anfield. They do. They probably get something.
I've been
But
shouting
he's
at me all
taking
week
the-
about De Bruyne as the right hand side of a tree in midfield, linking up with whoever's up top on the right, and the fullback, which would have been Cancelo, and overloading Liverpool down that side to get service to Haaland, and then they rock up and they stick him out on the right. Up
Why?
front.
Because it's nothing to do with the players. It's nothing to do with the injury. It's Pep wanting, like he did against Chelsea in the Champions League final, like he did against Tottenham when they lost that semi-final. He wants everybody to see how wonderfully clever and his philosophy. When Jurgen Klopp set the trap by talking about nobody can match you, so Pep is bit as usual and went, okay, I'll do something different and I'll show you all how clever I am. He's fallen into the trap. He's lost the game 1-0. And that's what makes him my loser of the week. His arrogance.
Well, for me, Guardiola, I kind of with you on it. I just couldn't understand what he was. Now listen, Man City were very good yesterday. They had a lot of the ball. They were really sharp. They move it really well. They're so hard to get the fucking ball off. But I think Liverpool's defence was just amazing as a team. Now Liverpool had good chances as well, but that's the way these games usually go. Chances are either end, whoever takes the most, and it's usually down to really good football rather than poor defending, you know, that sort of way. But I couldn't understand what he was trying to do with De Bruyne, and you see De Bruyne move across the pitch as the game goes on. He ends up left hand side, you know, the sort of way. But yesterday he tries to blame the referee by saying, "Oh, the referee wanted to let this game flow and stuff," and he's kind of he's throwing his arms up in front of the main stand, and somebody I seen on Twitter earlier said, "Look, Pep Guardiola would love to be the Liverpool manager, and I'll never back down on that opinion." And I see a bit of that in him. I do see a bit of that when he gets to Anfield. It's like he has to play up to this because not that he eats at him, but it is something in him where he goes, "Look at this fucking place." There's a bit of envy there, right? And listen, he's probably not envious over the amount of trophies he's won, but for me, there's just something there in it. That's fine. Man City themselves. Fans are singing certain songs after within 10 minutes of the start of the thing. They're singing the same songs on the concourse at half time. They're graffitiing toilet doors about Hillsborough and stuff like that. They're singing it after the game. There's videos of them after the game singing these songs quite loudly, which is, look, what can you say anymore? All you can do is just, you know, I don't know whether ignoring them now at this stage is the best, but I don't think it is. I think you should be saying something. The club themselves should have come out, like some Man City fans yesterday, and said there's no place for what that went on there yesterday. And some City fans I have seen have done that. The club themselves haven't done anything. They've let things leak to certain press members, like, oh, you know, Klopp was being they feel that Klopp was being
Xenophobic.
being bordering on xenophobia because he mentioned clubs that have massive financial wealth. You know,
That has nothing to do with xenophobia.
No, absolutely nothing to do with xenophobia.
That's their own. That's their own.
Because he cites where they're from, wasn't it?
But that's their own. That's their own paranoia.
It doesn't matter where they're from. He just tells you that Liverpool can compete because of the financial structure they have. But having said that, that club have decided now that the big thing in all this is that someone threw coins at Pep Guardiola. If they threw coins, he should be identified in our Anfield again. That's it, right? The bus was attacked again, right? Okay. Now, you can say all that, but Man City should have come out this morning and said, and I said it last night, Guardiola or the club should have come out made a live statement to say, what went on in the away end at Anfield yesterday is appalling. It shouldn't happen again. You don't represent Manchester City. Please stop, because you're embarrassing the club. And they haven't. They've stayed quiet and they've leaked small little things of how they feel to certain publications or media outlets across the UK, right?
Yep.
Now, that's what fucking annoys me, right? Come out and say it. And I said it last night, I'm delighted Liverpool come out and made that statement because it just puts the ball firmly in other clubs' courts now. We're not just going to sit here, and as somebody said to me earlier, you know, but by Liverpool club not saying anything, we literally live in this kind of bubble where this is just happening and we all just take it. The stereotype. We live in the stereotype. But by Liverpool doing that yesterday, it's a real case of, we're just going to put on you now. and let's know what you think. But City have also decided, and via another media outlet, that they're going to listen to their own officers that were at the game yesterday, and their own representatives, to find out what way they will react.
So what they're saying,
what way they will react to those chants at Anfield yesterday.
Yeah.
And the third thing is the referee, and I'll let Andy get in now. The third thing is the referee. I've watched it back again, and my God, is a deplorable refereeing thing, and I mean that on both sides. It's a deplorable refereeing performance yesterday, because he's decided that he's not going to make any decisions in this game. None. Kick, do what you like. I'm just not going to. He gives a yellow card to. Somebody, Fabinho, which is a yellow card, right? He gives a yellow card to. Is it Cancelo or one of the centre halves when Diaz cuts or Nunez cuts inside him? He gives that, right? But other than that, those fellas getting pushed, shoved, kicked, pulled to the ground, and he's making no decision. It's appalling. Andy, City, Guardiola, the ref, it's all yours.
There's a lot to respond to there. So first of all, I think it was Pep that his point about the referee was. They pulled him inside at the beginning of the game and said, we're going to make this game flow. I'm going to let a few things go. First of all, if I was Klopp, I'd have said, hey, what? No, you're not. You're here to referee the game. This isn't about you. You're here to officiate this match and apply the laws of the game. So if there's a free kick, you give a fucking free kick. It's not up to you to come here and tell us that you're going to let this game flow and let fouls happen. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Pep's point was that so he lets the game flow, and then when there's a goal scored and it's reviewed, then he cancels the goal because there was a foul. Yeah, that's what VAR's there for. So he came and he said he let the game flow, which he did. He let it flow too much, in my opinion. And then that's what VAR is there for, to review a decision if it was missed during the game, and then the right rule was applied at that point, and there was 2 fouls in that goal. They can't have any complaints. You can't grapple someone to the ground, and he let it happen in the second half as well. It was an absolutely atrocious refereeing performance. He just wanted to make it about him, and he wanted to square that game up as well. I'm convinced, because he was given handballs against us that he wasn't given against Kevin De Bruyne to control the ball in his hand. Van Dijk had a ball that he went up to win the header, and he knew nothing about it as he was coming down, and the ball flicked up and hit him in the hand. He gave a free kick.
Right near the end, yeah.
Yeah, he gave them any leg up that he possibly could to square that game up. It was a disgusting performance, an absolute scumbag of a referee, and he shouldn't get big games. He has this thing where he's supposed to be their big ref, but no. Shitbag, and again, it's just the ego of these referees.
But you see, it's very easily twisted, because you've just said there, and you're right. He comes in and he tells Klopp and the Man City assistants, because Guardiola doesn't go into the meeting.
Oh yeah, I heard that, yeah.
And he says, "I'm going to let this game flow, blah blah blah." And you're right, what you're saying. You should be going, "No, hold on. You'll referee the game in the context of the game, not just what you think in your own head." And what happens then is that translates into certain media where they go, like Michael Richards is saying to people yesterday, it's almost like they're re-refereeing the game when this VAR comes out. And we're like, yes, that's exactly what they're doing. Because the referee missed it. And then Jamie O'Hara says today, oh, well, it's a shocker. You know, it's a shocker. Your man on TalkSport, Jamie O'Hara, right? And he's saying,
what is he?
He's
played about 10 games for Spurs.
And he's saying it's a shocker. He said he let the game flow. Well, he did let it flow, and it flowed, and then he came back and went, there's two fouls there. We don't need to look at the second one. The first one's there. You need to go look
which is what VAR allows you to do, isn't it?
Correct.
It allows you to let game flow and reflect on an incident.
If he's saying yesterday that I'm going to try let this flow, and if something comes about where I have to look at it, I'll look at it. That's absolutely fine. That's probably the way you should do it. But yesterday, Mo Salah Rodri goes straight through the back of Mo Salah in the first half yesterday. Straight through him, right? And Salah goes up in the air and he lets it go. And then he runs down the line later, and your man is literally hanging out of him, right? And pulls him to the ground and lets it go. Milner goes over and pushes Bernardo Silva straight off the pitch yesterday with the ball on the sideline, and he lets that go. It was like he didn't want to make a decision. But what happens is,
control,
what happened? He never had control, Andy. Because if you watch it from the first minute, he never has control of that game.
He led a couple of there was a couple of great. Liverpool set the tone very early when Milner, was it Milner? Or was it Robbo? Robbo smashed into Foden. Or
no,
who was it?
Robbo goes up for that. Robbo goes up for a header, and Bernardo Silva hits him with a cheap one. And Robbo gets up and pushes him, tells Bernardo Silva to fuck off. And the ref kind of okay. Milner hits Foden, but it's not. It might be. It's a good.
There was a challenge early on, but anyway, look, these are sometimes the referees, they think they're out of control, or if a hard tackle looks hard, they just give a free kick automatically. But look, that's fine. Like, let those things flow, but not when we've lost Diaz there the other week over letting the game flow. Like, this new idea, like, players get injured. So I hope when referees walk in and are briefing the managers that they say, no, you won't. No, that's not your choice.
Jamie O'Hara.
You're here to referee the fucking match today, and it's nothing to do with you.
Jamie O'Hara on Talksport said today that if the ref said he was going to let this go, he should have told VAR that he was going to let it go. Right?
You can't change the rules.
No.
This
is how it translates. Because Pep says he's going to let it flow. The referee has probably said, listen, if something happens and the game goes on, I'm going to let it go. And we could come back and look at it or whatever, right? Because every goal gets checked for VAR anyway. Every fucking single one of them, right?
Has to be.
But what happens is they take that and they go, well, hold on, he said he was letting it flow, right? And they're literally then turning around making stuff up like, we should adjust the leniency within challenges if the referee has decided you can't referee like that.
You can't do that.
You
can't. It's literally written in black and white in the rules of the game. And you can't just grab a player with your fist and grab their jersey and pull them to the ground. You can't do that.
You can't.
And it's not up to a referee to make rule changes before kickoff. Look, I don't even know who Jamie O'Hara is, but he sounds like a dickhead, and we shouldn't even be talking about him. Can we move on to Pep?
Yeah.
Just for a bit of balance. I like Pep. I have to say, I like personalities in football. I think if we didn't have Mourinho in the Premier League, it wouldn't have been as good of a league over the years. I think Klopp, and there's a comment there about Klopp's behaviour on the touchline and shouting up into the linesman's face.
Fully deserved to be sent off.
That was out of order. He was dealt with, and now he's going to serve a touchline ban, and he's admitted he was wrong. And people give out about Klopp, like you see opposition fans saying he's the worst arsehole in the whole league and all that. But he's our arsehole, right? I love him to bits because he wears his heart on his sleeve. And like us as football fans, how emotional we get when we're watching the game. Now, we sit down, we reflect later on and relax and calm down. We don't say stupid things. And so does Klopp, because he's very measured in an interview. He's such an intelligent man, and he's able to articulate himself very well, make his points, and he's a knowledge about everything. But when he's in the zone and the red mist is there, yeah, he let himself down. So what? But these personalities bring something to the game, and Pep was on the sideline and he was riling up the crowd. Maybe the ref should have dealt with him over that. But I don't want to take that away out of the game. I mean, like, and as well, you made a point there, Gav, earlier. I was going to say it myself. There's a level of envy there, and I'll talk about City now in a minute as well with him. I'd say he'd take one league title with Liverpool over 4 or 5 with City, because he's about his ego, and he wants it to. He's most successful people have a bit of an ego anyway, but he's not getting the recognition at City because everybody knows it's just one big shit show. It's just it's meaningless. It's an absolutely shy club. That everything is just built on all this sports washing and all the money that they can pump in. So practically anyone can win a league there. But Pep, if he went to Liverpool, we'd adore him. Absolutely adore him. He'd be our arsehole. He'd be our arrogant arsehole, and he'd fit in no problem. And most managers, Mourinho has always said it as well. He would have loved a crack at managing Liverpool. Wenger would have loved a crack at. They all love proper football clubs. They all love, and they're all jealous and envious of what the supporters there yesterday were like. There's no noisier ground than Anfield in a big game like that, and the passion and the connection between the manager, the players, the fans. Pep can only dream of that. And talking about tactics, look, he could have been a genius yesterday with that change of shape if they had won. It made a lot of sense because who wouldn't come to Liverpool and target Gomez and Milner? Who wouldn't do that? So as soon as he sniffed any chance that Konate was out, that was always going to be the case. So he tried. If you look at the setup, they were saying they played 3 centre halves. It kind of looked a bit more like a back four. Cancelo was up a bit higher, but Aki didn't leave his own half. And the 3 players out there linking up, and they overloaded that side, and they were trying to force the mistakes down that side. And then in turn, you drag the midfielders over there like Fabinho, Thiago, and free up De Bruyne and let De Bruyne have loads of space to run into and then flick balls into Haaland. Like, it made a lot of sense. And tactically, there probably wasn't that wrong with it. It's just Liverpool were so good. So picking at City's tactics kind of takes away from the performance of Liverpool.
It's not picking at the tactics, Andy. What it is, it's picking at the idea of being goaded into a change when you don't need to make one.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, I know. Look, right. You said your bit. I'm just responding to it now, right? I don't think there was much wrong with his approach to the game. I think it made a lot of sense, but Liverpool were so good. They were just so good that Milner and Elliott out there, they dealt with Foden so well. Like, Foden is an absolute joy to watch. He plays like a Spanish player, like he plays like a Brazilian. Is the way he moves, it's very graceful. Like, it's a bit like Silva when he was at City. He's just beautiful to watch. But then you look at Elliott, who's Elliott will hope to establish himself like Foden has in that team, and with a bit of trophies under his belt in a few years when he's his age. But Elliott's more direct, and it was a big test for Elliott yesterday to kind of show that, well, I'm another young player, English young player that's going to make it and going to play for England and be a superstar. And the way they dealt with it was excellent. And it's just, I mean, if the City had won, would have been talking about them tactics as being Pep's a genius and whatever else.
Yeah, I know.
I don't mind. I kind of like him. All that shit with the crowd, I thought that was fun. I thought that was game.
I just thought that the whole moving De Bruyne out there, I just thought limited. No. When I say limit De Bruyne, he's brilliant. But I think
he really moved out there though, Gav. I think he played where he is really dangerous.
No, he is dangerous, but Andy. But when I've watched him this season,
he was poor.
I know, but what I'm saying is, when I've watched him this season, you usually end up with De Bruyne, a right-sided forward, and the fullback overloading on that side, just to give De Bruyne enough room in big areas that he can put it in towards Haaland. And he's done it so many times this season. Yeah. And when I seen him out there, I thought he looked a bit isolated. Now, he was good at times. Yeah. Really good runs, first half especially, really good runs, and he got in behind a couple of times. But I think if you'd have put him in the middle of the park, I think he would have just had much more of an influence. That's just me. We're going to go. Loads of rumour. Yeah, you can talk about City now. Loads of rumour going around Steven Gerrard's being sacked by Aston Villa. I've looked it up. He hasn't been sacked. The communications director at Manchester City has basically said, what the fuck is going on here? He hasn't been sacked. So he has not been sacked by the looks of it.
At Villa?
Yeah. You want to talk about City before we go?
Yeah. I'll have a crack at giving out about City. So that's my loser. They're my loser this week. The saviours of football were found out yesterday. Liverpool have been given opposition teams a blueprint to how to play against them. I just hope teams that are coming up against City take note. And for years Liverpool have been doing this against them, showing how you should play against them, and again they did it again. They're irrelevant. Their status in the game, from that standpoint, is absolutely irrelevant, and it's this like inferiority complex. They're their fans are self-conscious about all that, and that's what leads to all of that mocking of tragedy and deaths and innocent fans who go to football games. And they were also singing the national anthem because they know that's going to get up the nose of the Liverpool fans. So they just want attention. That's what they wanted. They're only down the road. Their city wasn't torn apart in the Thatcher years like Liverpool was. The docks were moved there, and all the industry was moved there, and they haven't suffered like the Liverpool fans have, but they're not too far away. I think Shawnee was saying last night there's plenty of poverty in Manchester as well. People that are working people eating out of food banks, and they know why Liverpool built a national anthem, and they're trying to incite that. You know, people in England, it's just bizarre how the lack of tolerance towards the city of Liverpool. They never seem to ask, well, why are Scousers building the national anthem? Why is that happening? Let's wonder why, and showing some empathy and sympathy. And to make matters worse, then they're singing about murderers and all of that shit. Like you know, all of it just screams of we're irrelevant and we want to be noticed. Nobody cares when we win the league. They'll probably eventually win the Champions League, and nobody will care about that either. And they just want to be seen. I believe the City fans that do go to away games are the traditional type, the ones that did go to all the games. Now the Etihad's just full of people just going to football games, and they're indifferent about it all. But they are a nasty bunch. I mean, there's not too many teams that aren't welcome in the Arkles pub before the game, but Manx are never invited in there. You know, the Arsenal fans come there and they behave themselves. The Spurs fans, there's no problem. But they are a dirty, filthy, rough bunch of scumbags, and they wreck the place and
I
all
don't
that
think you
graffiti.
can call all of them Man City fans were there yesterday.
Yeah, I heard you saying last night that's a minority. They sounded like a fairly loud minority to me yesterday, Gav.
No, I didn't say that. What I said was the video that came out after the game yesterday.
Maybe you didn't say it. Maybe Shawnee said they were a minority.
No. I used the word minority, but what I said was the video I had seen after the game yesterday was the game was over, right? You could see the upper tier of the Anfield Road was empty, right? So there was so many City fans there. From what was there, they weren't all singing this, but I would say probably 300 to 400 might have been. That's just going on what was in the photo and how loud it was. You know, there's no way every City fan there yesterday was doing that, or a scumbag. You know,
Gav, they were there. There was probably 3,000 of them at the game.
There was 3,000 of them at the game.
Yeah, and they were all singing together. I looked at them singing together with their hands up in the air. They were all singing, Gav.
Right. Well, I'm just going on the video.
Okay, it's a look. Come here. Look, and I know in football, it's normally a minority that ruins it for everyone. Like I know only one person wrote on the toilet door. You know what I mean? They didn't all do that. Like it is going to be the one individual incident. It's like when a rock is thrown at a bus or a can of Kropberg or something. It is one person that launches it. It shouldn't really be any reflection on the whole fan base. So, yeah, maybe I'll retract the point about it being all of them, because there's probably some decent fans, and it does the really nasty stuff is normally just one individual's act or a handful of them. But Gav, they were all singing the national anthem. They were all singing murders.
I'm not saying they weren't. My comment on the minority yesterday was with regards to the video I seen, which was clearly taken after the game.
Yeah.
You know, that's all. I don't know. For me on the TV, yeah, the national anthem thing was very, very loud.
Yeah.
Very loud.
To be honest, it's the recent stuff. The recent stuff about chants, right? Like Liverpool got a lot of stake, and rightly so, and from the LGBT community, and Klopp in turn had to go, and didn't have to, chose to go and engage with that community and listen to what they had to say. And Liverpool don't sing that song anymore, Chelsea fans. So we've been called out. The Liverpool are now represented at board level by fans. So one of the big points on the agenda from SOS is you know, the whole Hillsborough family stuff, and
Yeah.
they want the club to call out opposition fans when they come to the ground, and they do that.
Yeah.
And Liverpool have been slow to do that in the past, and they're doing it now. So the voice is being heard, and they need to do that. And City and other fans that come there and do that need to be held accountable for their songs. Now, in turn, we're probably going to have to stop singing about deaths too. Things like, you know, the Thatcher, the Queen. There really is no place for chanting about tragedy, where even if it's not tragedy, if it's natural causes or death, it just, there's no point, lads. It's just, kicks on and encourages other chanting in that form.
It probably just justifies what someone else is going to do.
However,
exactly. And look,
sorry, I just want to say, because if I miss these comments, I'll forget them. Anne says, was loud as fuck, Gav. You could hear only the victims clear as day on the 12th minute, right? Avo says, listen to the match about 10 minutes in and you hear it very loud. You hear Liverpool fans react to it. I completely get that. My comments about the minority yesterday is that the video I seen was after the game with a body of City fans, and there was being sung, right? About the Sun newspaper, right? It was being sang, but from the body of people that were in the picture, it was the minority of those people that were singing that at that time.
All right.
During the game, I completely get you. Everyone could hear it. And Sky do their best to tone it down. You can notice the volume going up and down, and they're turning on and off mics. You can clearly hear it as it goes on.
But they don't have to comment on it. To be honest with you,
could I just finish the point? Sorry, Pete. Look, chanting about Thatcher, who did what she did to the city of Liverpool, is not the same as chanting about 97 innocent football supporters who were unlawfully killed. It's not the same thing, but it's just it's what idiots do to respond to that. It's what they're going to do, and
they use it as a justification.
Unfortunately, like the argument of, oh well, it's not as, what we're doing is not as bad, but the people who are most hurt then in the end are the families of the Hillsborough disaster, right? They're the people that get hurt when it turns into this. So if we wanted to stop at Anfield, you know, we need to play our part in it as well. And it may not be, look, there's a lot of people that grew up in Liverpool are going to feel it worse. So we don't really like Thatcher in Ireland either, believe me. She didn't have much time for Ireland. And Irish people weren't treated very well over in the UK during the time she was running the show. So it's just there's no place in football to be singing about dead people at all. It's classless. And yesterday, right, and at the Etihad a few years ago, when Liverpool were after winning there and progressing in the Champions League, they stayed back, and a noise outside the ground that even the City fans, the Etihad had never heard noise like it. And yesterday, Liverpool fans showed you, like, that money can't buy class. This is what a real football club is about. And they were sent back down the M62 or whatever road it is with their tails between their legs, and they know deep down that behaviour is all out of pure jealousy, and you know, there's nothing as proud to be a Liverpool fan and to see the way the supporters were there yesterday, and it's just that club's Man City are just soulless, and I hope eventually. You know, there's been a lot of commentary lately around the owners and whether you know, if you can't beat them, join them and just get our own.
Don't go down this owner route, please.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to. But let's not just turn into a soulless club like them. It's meaningless, and I hope eventually this all catches up with them and the bubble bursts and the owners fuck off, or they're caught, or you know, wishful thinking. But I wouldn't want to be associated with them.
I think, Andy, what makes it
Pete,
worse,
last word before we get out of here.
What makes it worse is, I don't mind, you're always going to get thousands of idiots, you know, doing what they did. But what makes it worse is the silence. Because I think if you're not speaking up, the silence from Manchester City as a club, if you're not condemning something, you're condoning it. And for it to take bodies of the Hillsborough family to reach out and ask Manchester City, ask them to make statements, and for them to refuse to that, it makes it infinitely worse. And what's going on? We spoke about it earlier on. Manchester City are now reaching out to say, okay, well, what we're investigating, because what they're doing is they're engaging in whataboutery, and but there was coins, there was this, there's all sorts of communicate. The classy thing to do, if you have a soul, is to say under no circumstances is this type of chanting or behaviour condonable or justifiable. That's the classy. Manchester United have done that in the past. Other clubs have done that in the past, and we will always have problems with rivals. But what we shouldn't have problems with is with the clubs themselves. The clubs should be the first. But Manchester City are showing that they obviously their owners have taken to heart what the Klopp had to say last Thursday about them being rich, but it's not a justification. Yeah, you're rich and it's difficult to compete with, but I'm sorry, it's on a different level, and that's why I wholeheartedly, Andy, agree with you. You're right. My I didn't never had any respect for Manchester City anyway, but any respect that anyone would have had, it's just gone. Did not make a statement. They should have made a statement 10 minutes later. They haven't made a statement yet.
Red Steve says, I remember when Andy had 8 windows, austerity is hitting everyone. Do you remember you used to have all the windows behind you, Andy?
Yeah, the gaff's too messy now with all the toys and shit everywhere. It's easier just to clean a corner.
Yeah. Just
now you have to
downstairs bathroom.
Look at this fucking shit.
But look, I think you're right, Pete. I think Klopp did when he said that during the week. Like what he says during the week, they can do what they want financially. It's all legal and all, yeah, that's fine, but we just can't compete because they can do whatever they want. Why did he take umbrage, as the word would be, with that? Why? Because City should sit there and go, well, yeah, we have got massive financial power, like everyone fucking knows it. Why are they getting upset over it? You know,
because they're cheating.
Listen, you see, that's the question. Why are they getting upset with it? But listen, man, I said it before, Man City should just come out and make the statement with regards to the comments that were made or the songs that were sang yesterday. If Liverpool fans have sang songs about, I've seen fucking all sorts that they've supposedly sang about. If that's the case, I'm sure Liverpool will look at it and go, hold on, find us this where they've sang this and we'll deal with it. You know, but to be honest with you, I just as a whole, Man City came out of yesterday in a bad light, in my opinion. And that's an opinion. People will like it, people won't, but that's the way it goes. Before we go, we have a preview of Liverpool West Ham tomorrow. We have a full-time Reds after Liverpool versus West Ham on Wednesday. We have an FSG in or out show on Thursday.
Oh really? And I wasn't even invited.
No, you're not letting you on. Friday I haven't finalised what's happening with it. Relax. I need to pipe up. Nobody yet. I'm trying to get some
find
people
out you've asked people. I haven't asked me. I'm going to be very disappointed.
All right, okay. Well, I haven't asked. I think me and Shawnee are definitely anyway. On it. Hey, well, there you go. Are you walking? Are you cleaning the gaff?
No, sure. I might be available Thursday, actually.
Look, I haven't asked. Me and Shawnee have decided to have this out, but we are looking for people that may be FSG out to come on and talk to us. Friday.
They don't really exist in real life.
Well, I would like to discuss it with somebody that would like to discuss it.
Did you ask Donks?
I haven't. I'm sure. Listen, I'll ask loads of people on Wednesday. Anyway, Premier League forecast Friday night. Liverpool play Forest on Saturday, so you'll have a full-time Reds on Saturday. You'll have the Fatback 4 on Sunday, and then we'll be back again to this next week. LFC Daytrippers beanie hats are available for pre-order. Very limited run. They're selling well, but there's a very limited run. So if you want one, the link is in the description under the Linktree link, and you'll get in there to find everything about the Daytrippers in there. At the very, very top is the link to those. €21 per hat, and as I said, very limited. And if it works out, we'll try to do something again in the future. Andy, anything else before we go?
FSG in.
Okay. Pete, anything else before we go?
No, I think we said it all, to be honest. It's a super win, absolutely buzzing. At the end of the day, 3 points from the against the champions. You know, Liverpool are in good shape. I'd rather be us than them. And a club with a soul, as Andy says, a club with a soul and 3 more points. I'll take it.
that has been winners and losers. Enjoy whatever's left of your Monday. Not much, 45 minutes or so. But, yeah, have a good one. That's it. Over now.